Hello, it's Enestor27 and I'm here with another Wi-Fi battle against my good buddy Cheeseboy628. If you guys don't know, make sure to check him out in the description below. He does some very good competitive tutorials and showdown sessions and all that jazz. And he's also a part of Meteor Falls, so you already know he's a good guy. And talking about Meteor Falls, make sure to check that out. I just had my first upload on the channel yesterday. It was a boot camp, so for those of you who are actually wondering what happened to the series, I moved it to there because we needed, I don't know, I just needed like some variety, and I thought it would help the channel out. But let's just hop right into this battle real quick. Alright, so Cheese is issuing a challenge. I'm going to start off with my Duckalepsy because I didn't really know what he wanted to start off with. He decides to bring out the Donphan. Right here, I knew that he'd probably want to go for Rock, so I decided to just Toxic this thing because I know that it's going to be a problem because like one of my special attackers is walled the fuck out by this Donphan as he sets up the Stealth Rocks. He's poisoned, so I'm like, alright, this is sort of a good position to be in. So he decides to switch out his Donphan, switches in the Alakazam knowing that he can take up whatever hit I would go for without breaking his Sash. And I go for the Ice Beam not to overpredict, so he goes for the Focus Blast, and here I thought this did a lot of damage for what it was worth. So I sort of thought at this point he was Specs, so I decided to switch out predicting another Focus Blast, so I switch out into my Speed Demon to actually take it up a lot better. But thankfully this turn he reveals he's not Choice Spec, so he must have gotten a Max Roll, and he goes for the Psyshock, which I can eat up a lot better. And this turn, I know that he's going to go for a Shadow Ball, most likely to try to kill off, to really hinder my Speed Demon. So I switch in my Flareon. I'm like, yeah, this is your time to shine, Flareon. You got this. You are no longer the false prophet. He goes for the Shadow Ball. I'm able to eat this up pretty well, especially with, now I'm at a minus special defense. I would have suggested to stay in possibly, but he didn't want any of that. He switches in his physical wall as I go for the Flare Blitz. The Flare Blitz is unfortunately going to get a critical hit. But since it got a critical hit, he's within range where a second Flare Blitz can kill, and he doesn't really want anything else to really take a hit, so he decides to leave in the Donphan to take the second Flare Blitz, and our False Prophet is no longer the False Prophet. He gets a kill. He is able to do something with his life. This is probably the only reason why I use this battle, because Flareon got a kill. Okay guys, there's nothing really, anything special left. But whatever, we're going to keep going with the quick attack just because I know I'm going to die to Stealth Rocks and I didn't want anything else to eat up the Sludge Wave. So there goes the Flareon, and yeah, there goes our Prophet right there. But whatever, I'm going to send in the Absol, faking that I have the, what's it called, the Play Roughs, but I actually don't have Play Rough on this one. I sort of forgot to put it on. So I have like Sucker Punch and Knockoff, so that's pretty bad. But I'm going to Mega Evolve, obviously. I'm just going to go for Knockoff because it was my strongest move, but he unfortunately brings in the Trevenant, which is not going to eat that up at all. He was holding the Citrus Berry. There was no way this thing was going to hold it. So he decides to bring in the Infernape. Here I was predicting a Mach Punch, so I decided to switch in a Speed Demon. But he makes the better play to actually go for the U-turn, which was, I don't know. I could still take one of those, but not super nicely. I might have been able to take two, but U-turns are one-turn things essentially. So he switches in his Alakazam. Here was the play of the game. Well, one of the plays of the game. I was like, is he going to go for the Shadow Ball or Focus Blast? And here I sort of thought like, oh, he's probably going to go for Focus Blast. Because like, essentially, the Shadow Ball was really obvious. So he needed to get this Porygon 2 out of the way. So thankfully, I just decided to, I took the risk to actually stay in, and it paid off, and the Alakazam is now gone. So he switches in his Infernape. I know I need the Speed Demon for the Cloyster later, so I switch out. Duckalepsy really doesn't have that much of use now that Alakazam is dead. So I'm going to trace the Iron Fist, even though that's completely useless. The U-turn is not going to kill me. I'm just letting this this P2 die, essentially, because I just want to safe switch into any of my other pokes. So he's going to go for the Dragon Pulse again, or for the first time, and I'm going to die. I don't really care. You did your job, Duckalepsy. You essentially just faked out that Alakazam into using Focus Blast. So I'm gonna go for the Knockoff on Goodra because it is my most powerful move to use. And yeah, he had the Assault Vest, and he goes for the Dragon Pulse, and somehow I don't die. And I'm like, I'm surprised that I even took it at all. But whatever, I'm going to kill off the Goodra right now with a second knockoff. He's going to send in his Infernape here. I'm pretty sure I just go for the Sucker Punch to get off whatever damage I can against this thing as he goes for the U-turn, which is the best play because he just needs to not he just needs to get into a better Pokemon because Infernape is really walled by my Slowbro. So he sends in his Cloyster, so right now I was like, oh, this is GG right here. All I have to do is press Thunderbolt and I win. So I go for the Thunderbolt, I see the HP going down, but it doesn't go all the way, and here I'm just like, what? It's Focus Sash, Cloyster, and here I was like, oh god, it might be over right here, it might be over. So he does go for the Shell Smash. I'm like, well, this is gonna be really close of a game, a lot closer than I want it to be. So he's gonna go for the Ice Cold Spear. Obviously, it's gonna kill me. It takes 3 of them, so I'm pretty proud of you, Gonzalez. It took the 3rd one to die. So I'm gonna send in Speed Demon and hope to God I can actually can actually live one. So he goes for the Rock Blast. First one does about 18. Second one does about 17. Third one does 20. I'm like, oh god, I might die. And last one goes for 17. The last would go for 17, and I'm like, yes, I was able to hang on with like a sliver of health and retaliate with a Scald. And yeah, I think at this point you guys can probably tell, since he only has the Infernape left, I'm going to be able to win because I still have the Alakazam with the Focus Sash, so it doesn't matter what he goes to. Here, he goes for the U-turn, which is essentially the best play because it is the most powerful move he has. And I'm going to send out the Alakazam to finish off this thing. Here, I sort of thought he might have been Choice Banded because he didn't go for a Mach Punch, even though it might have just helped him a little. But nonetheless, it was a good battle, Cheese. Make sure to check him out in the description below. Make sure to check out Meteor Falls as well. Make sure to hit that like button, it really does mean a lot. And this has been Enestor, and I'll see you guys later.